and welcome to today's video. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is not actually a writing vlog. No, I found a book tag called the Contradiction Book Tag, and it is originally by... This tag was created by Only If for a Page. I will put a link down below. I honestly found this because I went wandering on Jesse the Reader's YouTube. He was one of the ones I watched so long ago, and I was like, you know, is there something I could do that's a little more recent? I was looking there to like help inspire, really, but I was like, is there anything I can do that's not a writing vlog? Because I'm sure people are getting sick of my writing vlogs when I'm making barely any progress. That's not true. That is really not true. I'm making a lot of progress. I'm in chapter 25, like 98,000 words, I think. And final battle. So, getting really excited for my book. But, so, there's a lot of things going on in my life, and I can't read. Even though I've actually started to read Gilded Cage. There's a reason it's no longer on the shelf behind me. And oh my god. I'm only like 4 or 5 chapters in, because I've not had much time. Because I've been busy. I was off yesterday, yes, but I was I had to do some grocery shopping. I had to, what else did I do? Oh, right, I was writing. What else did I do? I was writing, and I also prepped some, cookie dough that I cooked earlier today, because I'm going to be bringing some cookies into work. Anyway, so let's get into this before I make this video way too long like I have a habit of doing. And let's certainly get into the questions for this book Contradictions tag. Now, I've not seen the questions, and so this will be real-time reactions, but most of that you will not see. I love this genre, but I didn't like this book. Now, I don't really get rid of books, so let's take a look at what I have. Alright, this is what we're going with. Just as a side note, if I start losing my voice in the middle of the video, I'm sorry, but I think that's a side effect of my medication. And probably not a good side effect, especially since my job also indicates that I need to talk a lot. Well, but it's fine. Inhaled steroids can apparently temporarily damage the vocal cords sometimes. Who knew? Anyways, so I only brought one of the books of the series out. So for the book where I love the genre, but I didn't like the book, was, well, it's actually a series, was Divergent. It started off okay, and then it just declined so badly, and I probably could have grabbed a Legion for this example, but I do like dystopian, the genre of dystopia. It fits into the fantasy and sci-fi and dystopian. That's basically all I read. It's all I read, because it doesn't really take place in the real world, and therefore that's where I thrive in my reading. However, I know it's really popular. I know this is probably a very unpopular opinion, but this is one that I don't really like, and the only reason I don't get rid of it is because I have attachment issues to books that even to books that I don't like. It's a problem, and I know I have a problem. Am I going to do anything about the problem? That would be a no. Let's move on to question 2, which, like I said, I'm not prepared for this video. I rarely read this genre, but I loved this book. Now, I have the perfect book here for that. Because I have found the genres that I love and that I read and that I love to read and I like and that just fit me, I don't read a lot of like contemporaries or of like mystery or thrillers, stuff like that. But you know what? With the title like Stalking Jack the Ripper, you kind of get intrigued. I saw this and honestly, I don't know what I thought when I bought this. I just knew, oh, pretty cover. Also takes place in late 1800s around Jack the Ripper times. You know what? Let's give it a shot. And then I actually loved it. The only reason I've now finished the series is because in the 3rd book it gets really slow, and as something that already doesn't have a fantastical element, even though it teases these fantastical elements, it does. Like in Hunting Prince Dracula, they tease it. They tease that like that it could be real, but it's not, and then they come up with an excuse, and oh my god. But I think that's actually why I enjoy the books, because they tease the fantastical elements that I actually love, but then they don't actually give me any of that, and they just give me a nice, good story about murders and cadavers. This is probably directly in my lane anyways. Because of the fact that basically they're coroners. Okay, you know what? This is out of my genre that I'm ever willing to go, so this is what we're going with for this answer, because I really don't read outside my genre that much. I know I should, but I feel uncomfortable reading some books that are outside my genre. However, because I did buy it, I will probably do that with the Inheritance games or something like that. Just because I did buy it thinking it was a fantasy. Because that cover looks like a fantasy. And it fooled me. It fooled a lot of people, honestly, and I feel like that was something that their marketing team wanted to do, to try and get more fantasy readers to read things that aren't fantasy. But like, some of us can't handle the real world and would much rather be in a fake world. A world that does not exist and will never exist. Question 3. I love this trope, but I didn't like this book. Oh, fuck. I gotta think about tropes now? Oh my god. Okay, so I've thought about this for a good long while. I've been looking at my shelves and I'm like, okay, what books don't I like? And then, like, there's so many different tropes out there, and so this is very hard for me to actually grasp. And a lot of them I do love. I love a lot of tropes. And one I don't like is black and white, so I like morally gray characters. However, I think people are gonna know where I'm going with this. Because as you have noticed, probably, if you're looking behind me and you no longer see Atlas 6 up there, instead it's down here where you can barely see it. There's a reason for that. So, Atlas 6. I'm sure it's no secret by now. I don't like her. I don't like this book. My hatred for it has only grown over time. I have a full ass rant video about it somewhere in this channel. I don't know where it is. I don't know how many videos have happened since that. But there's a rant video about it. Go check that out if you want to hear me just rant about everything that I didn't like about the book. Now, there were a few good things about the book. A few. Not that many. So, yeah, there's a lot of tropes in this book, but the one I'm going to talk about is having morally gray characters, because most books that would delve into something like this would think a little more in black and white, and that is a trope that does annoy me. But sometimes you can be so morally gray that it doesn't matter. And that's what this book was. I have no idea why all of the characters pissed me off, and that they were all just so morally gray, but also leaning a little more to the darker side of gray. Like, it just doesn't work. And I think it's because, like, every character is like that. If there were a few that were a little, like, on the lighter side and a little on the darker side, and then there were, like, some that are in the middle, perfect. But there's no balance. There's no balance to these morally gray characters, and I don't know. I'm not going to go into another rant about this book, because I already did that. You can go look at my thoughts over there. But, so this has actually a few tropes that I normally love. That is like enemies to lovers, the more, like, having morally gray characters, and stuff like that. But, like, and a trope I actually do love is the mentor is actually the bad guy. And yeah, that is in this book. But everything about it in this book somehow got twisted. And it made it bad. I don't know how, because I love having morally gray characters. I love having characters that are willing to do things that a normal, really good character who's all about light and love and would never do. But, like, sometimes you can overdo it. And I think that's what happened here. I don't actually know, but that's what I'm going with, because I have no other excuse. And also, this is the only book that comes to mind right now where there's a lot of tropes that I love, but that just, like, didn't work in here. But you know what? That's me. That's my issue. And you know what? Well, we're gonna move on now. So, question 4 is, I hate this trope, but I love this book. For this one, we're gonna be a little bit of a basic bitch. And I'm saying that because this is the only time this trope has actually worked so well that I don't mind it. And that is the love triangle trope. And the book series is The Infernal Devices. Now, yes, I probably have mentioned this, but I've fallen out with Cassandra Clare's books. And that's fine. I just have fallen out. But this is still one of my favorite series. Because I love everything about it. Like, I do still love Cassie's worlds. I still love her characters. The story was just going places I just didn't want it to go, I guess. So, yeah, I'm here just like, but yeah, so The Infernal Devices has the best love triangle trope, and normally I hate love triangles, mainly because you have to choose who, and usually one of them is not really a choice, and and I get it. I know why writers want to implement this as a thing. But I don't, it's no. Just no on that, because there's so much that goes into it. For love triangles to work, like how this one worked, there's gotta be, like, it has to be a difficult decision. Or you could always go poly, but there is, for love triangles, for the trope of love triangles, there's supposed to be a decision that's made. And oftentimes, one of them is a very clear decision. And they are the very clear actual love interest. The other one is just there to create drama. And that's how love triangles work. They're there to create drama, and I get it. A lot of writers like that, but as a writer myself, I object to love triangles, and if I ever put a love triangle in my own books, someone find me and slap me in the face to knock some sense into me, because that is wrong. I have not included a single love triangle in my books. I have not. I was just thinking about something, about one that might have ended up, no. There's no, it's very clear that one's not a love triangle. But this book does create the perfect love triangle. And I'm living for that. I love it. Question 5. I love this author, but I didn't like this book. Alright. Who are we picking? This may come as a surprise to some. I've probably said this before on the channel, but I love Adrienne Young. I love her writing style. I love her stories. I'm working on getting the rest of her books, but I fell in love with her writing when I read this book. However, there is one book that she wrote as a sort of sequel to Sky in the Deep, which is The Girl the Sea Gave Back. This one, though it's mediocre at best, it just doesn't hit right for me. And I don't know why, like, it's following Sky in the Deep several years later, but it doesn't hit right. I don't know how to say this properly. But yeah, so love this author. I love her writing. I do. But oh my god. This book just doesn't sit right, and I don't know what it is about the book. I don't know what it... Well, I probably do know what it is if I read it again. But I'm going to put it this way. I have read this exactly once. I have read this 4 to 6 times. The readability here is vastly different. And so I love this one, did not love this one, and I'm still going to be getting Adrienne Young's other books, but when I read this, it kind of put a pause on that for me, so we'll get to it eventually. Eventually we will. 6. I previously disliked a book by this author, but I loved this book. Okay. Pretty sure I have a few of these. Though when I dislike a book, I usually just blacklist the author. I'm really bad for doing shit like that, And you know what? I should stop. Will I? Probably not. This might be a little controversial considering everything that surrounds this author. Considering we are probably never going to get a sequel to the book I'm about to show you, House of Dragons. Now this book I loved. You can see my video on it somewhere in my channel. So this book I also enjoyed of hers. Okay? However, this book, this one right here, is the one that turned me off of Jessica Cluess, turned me off from finishing this series, but then this book came out. I was like, oh, that's a neat cover. I didn't even look at the fucking author. I didn't realize that I already had books from her and that I had never even finished this series because of what the fuck happened here. But I read it anyways because I was like, you know what? I was actually in the middle of reading House of Dragons when I realized I had books of hers. And when I realized what she had done to me in A Poison, Dark, and Drowning. But she redeemed herself here, and so I'm probably gonna try and find a sorrow, fierce, and I know it's a sorrow. I know it has sorrow, and I know it has fierce. A sorrow, fierce, and falling. So I will probably add that. I will probably get that, and then maybe reread these books so I can remember. I'm pretty sure I remember what the fuck happened here. And you know what? Maybe she'll redeem herself in that last book. Now, everything surrounding Jessica Cluess, I'm going to say this right now. I don't really care as much what an author does in their free time. I don't care that she got canceled. Her writing stands out pretty well. Her writing is pretty good, actually. I did love A Shadow Bright and Burning, which is why I even got this when it got out and not waited for a paperback version when I only had a paperback of A Shadow Bright and Burning. And then I read House of Dragons after not realizing who it was by, because I was really pissed at Jessica Cluess for Poison, Dark, and Drowning. She is a good writer. I'm not going to say anything about the whole cancel culture thing. I'm not going to say anything about what she said on Twitter. That is something I'm keeping off of my channel because I don't want that kind of drama here. That's drama I don't care for. Now, if any of you have anything to say about this whole decision, you may comment, but I'm probably not gonna say anything because, yes, Jessica Cluess probably just made a mistake, or she wasn't wording things well, or it was just a heat in the moment kind of thing. I don't know. I barely remember this whole scandal that happened. I ended up hearing from it from my comments section. On House of Dragons. On my video about House of Dragons, I heard about it on my comments section there. And that shows how much I'm actually on Twitter. You can follow me, and occasionally I might post a tweet about videos. But yeah, so everything surrounding this author is kind of just a little iffy even now, because she got canceled, and we'll never see a sequel to this, even though I really want one. And I had pre-ordered the sequel to this before all of that happened, so fuck me, I guess. But you know what? this is the dangers of being on social media. And the fact that there's cancel culture is a thing. Okay. So yes, I loved House of Dragons. I previously wanted to blacklist this author just because of what happened here. Yeah, we're gonna get off of this topic real quick. So question 7 is, I love this cover, but I didn't like this book. Oof. We're not gonna have any repeats in this video, despite the fact that I really want to bring Atlas 6 out here for this. Alright, so for a book where I loved the cover, but I didn't really like the book, here we go. The Blood Rose Rebellion. Like, I understand. There's a lot surrounding this book. But I don't know what it is about this book. It's probably just the writing style. But I did not really like this book. The cover is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I was willing to see where it went with its sequel, and I'm not going to bring the sequel up. But, like, it wasn't that great. It disappointed me a lot, and just, but the cover looks so cool. It's a literal masterpiece. It's so pretty. It's like wall art. It's literal art. And it's so pretty. But the book didn't really hold up to the cover very well. The cover is pretty and beautiful. The book, the writing itself is meh. It's just a meh. That's all I can describe it as, and that's all you're getting. But yeah, so I was willing to read the second book to see where it went, and then the second book dragged on even more, and I was just like, you know what, nope, done. Peace, bye. The last question, which is, I don't like this cover, but I loved this book. I think I must go with this. Now, the cover, it's not that it's bad. It's not. It's not a bad cover. But I would have never bought this had I not done the really just stupid choice I did when I was like 16 or 17. Which, when I got Frostblood. Because I would never have picked this up. And yet, I love it to bits. I love this book. I love the whole series. And yet, I never would have picked it up if I hadn't done that thing with the Epic Reads post and then decided, oh, let's just, for funsies, let's buy it and let's read it. And then I loved it. It blew me away. And the other books, they blew me away some more. And I was so pleasantly surprised. Like, oh my god. So, this is why we say don't judge a book by its cover. Like, yeah, it's got stuff going for it. But, like, it just doesn't hit you the same as something like The Prison Healer. Just beautiful. Or, like, up here with Heartless. You can't see that. With Heartless. Beautiful, gorgeous. And even when this doesn't have its sleeve on it, so pretty. And, like, this just captures you. This does nothing. This looks boring. This doesn't look like there's much trapped inside. But it is such a good book. If you have not read Frostblood, I do highly recommend it. Because the cover may not look the greatest. In fact, the covers all follow this trend of not looking too pretty. I mean, they got a little more exciting as the books went on, because you got Frostblood over here, you got Fireblood, you see some embers here, and that's just ice. And then you got this one where it's black, and what is that black? So the covers get a little more exciting as you go forward, but it really doesn't actually go anywhere. But the covers all just have this drabness to them. But inside of these covers is one of the best stories I have read, and I really do love it. And so, yeah. That's my pick for that question. That's it for this book tag. Hopefully by next week I will have my third book's first draft finished, and I can give you guys an update on that. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. If you want to read my book, my first book is currently out. Links are in the description. You can pre-order the ebook of my second book, also in the description below. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!